From Bears Last Stand to Saban's empire, we built the league, broke the mold, and rewrote the code. Crimson Tide, unstoppable, undeniable, untouchable. 7-9 champs, goal line stand. Barry Cross made Penn State fold their hand. Chile ran, Ogilvie danced. Sugar Bowl glory, banner advance. Ray Perkins brought Bennett's wrath. 3-time All-American cleared the path. Bill Curry's crew, Siren Stacy's fire. Feet steep crown, Crimson never tired. Gene Stallings, 9-2 reign. Teague stripped Miami, left them in pain. Jay Barker, Lassick, Odin Tide. Langham locked down, Thorpe took flight. We're nothing but a winner. The best to ever do it. Crimson Tide rolls deep. No one can outdo it. Built for the lights, bred for the fight. We don't chase greatness, we define it right.
And welcome back to Titan Sports, folks. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like this video. Thank you for coming. Share it with your friends. Let them know we are 9 days away from storming straight through normal. Crimson Tide is back in the game. I got to get some things off my chest over the next couple of days, dealing with some haters, some other haters, and some super haters. But just want to go back to Coach Caleb DeBoer's comments following the loss to Georgia, the devastation. I mean, we just went down, man, 28-7. Not pretty, but after the game, Coach DeBoer, he insisted that the Tide's playoff version would look nothing like the team that was limping through that game. Some people say he was making excuses or pleading his case. However, that is his job to do these things on behalf of the Crimson Tide, just like these other coaches talking about other stuff, why they didn't get in, why they not going, they ain't going to do whatever. Anyway, we can clearly point to several key players dealing with issues during this SEC title bout. The point was that with recovery time, Alabama could field a team that was a considerably different football team than what people saw on the field. And kind of think of it as a Crimson Tide 2.0, you know, patched up, reloaded, and ready to bite everybody. But if as we advance into to the 12-team playoffs, you know, we're going to be hitting that first round against the Sooners, perhaps advantage Alabama, but the Tide imploded at home against the Sooners to lose by 2 points. And I mean, really imploded. I mean, we lost by 2 points, but was it 3 turnovers or something? And had all these yards and stats and stuff, but, you know, a lot of work to do before that game. But DeBoer's main pitch that night to the committee focused on the resilience of the Crimson Tide. After being dog-walked by Kirby, he was just implying that they didn't just lose. They did battle with what they had. They were shorthanded. And his message was that he wanted to be judged by who they'll be in 2 weeks, not who hobbled into the Mercedes-Benz over there in Atlanta. And as a long life Tide fan, I gotta say, you know, that's a stretch, but that is his truth. It's like showing up at a heavyweight fight with one glove missing, saying, you know, give me 2 weeks, I'm gonna bring both gloves and a pair of brass knuckles. I mean, that's not how things work. That's the Tide's vibe heading into the playoffs. But these discussions around whether we should be there or not be there, it don't matter. We are there. So he has to take his team and make the best out of the situation. Who knows? Do I believe that we could win a national championship? Is number 19 only a few weeks away? Can I say with 100% of my heart that Alabama's going to win a national championship this season? No. Can't say that at all. But you know what? You got a chance. What's 1 divided by 12? you got what's that, about 7.5%? You got a chance. You got a chance. You in there. You got a chance. Hey, James Madison got a chance. That's why I love having the G5 included. But anyway, back to what the boy was saying. He squarely aimed his comments at the playoff selection committee. He planted the seed on behalf of Alabama that night, saying that, Alabama's ceiling is higher than what that scoreboard showed over there. That scoreboard said 28-7. But when you go you weed through it, you take away 3 whole turnovers, the interception, block punt, and the turnover on downs in our red zone, which just to make the scoreboard look pretty. I don't know why they did that. Just punt the ball, 21-7 is bad enough. Anyway, or whatever the score was. The defense was 7-7. The defense side of the ball, their scoreboard said 7-7. But hey, it is what it is. You can't make it pretty, But he was saying just don't leave the Tide out. It's still the Crimson Tide, and we're still dangerous. Like I said, James Madison, Tulane's dangerous to somebody, not us, but they're dangerous to somebody. Somebody needs to watch, stay back. So maybe it worked, or maybe they just ignored them and they put us in anyway based on some other features, like snapping Georgia's 33-game home streak. 33. That's a lot of games. That's 4 years of football. Nobody beat Georgia in between them hedges. Who can say they did that? We did it this season too. That wasn't no last. It was this season. You can't take that away. 3-point victory. Who cares? 4 years of football. I think they have 8 home games a year. That's a lot. So Alabama fans, we can grin at the thought that this isn't the team that folds. It's just reloading. And the SEC title loss, yeah, we like racking those up. It stings a lot. But the Tide's playoff version could be healthier, could be nastier. And ready to remind everybody why the Crimson Tide is the color of dominance, why we are who we are. I want to buy into that thought, but the run game seems to be jacked up, and it's been jacked up long before Saturday. We saw it flash this game, be non-existent. Anytime we go under 100 yards, I'm like, you got problems. If it was somebody else, that's cool. But Alabama, when you under 100 yards in a game rushing, you got problems. And to pinpoint it, I just want to remind everybody, painfully, rushing yards netted -3. -3. But I'm reminded, I always remind myself, I got the book around this, Sports Illustrated somewhere around here, that the Crimson Tide won a national championship by passing the ball for 16 yards. And this ain't with Bear, this is after Bear Bryant. Go look it up. But keep your chin up. Keep your chin up, Tide Nation. The board's message is clear. Alabama in the playoff equals Alabama unleashed. Injuries masked our true power, but recovery time flips the script. I can see it on defense. Defense is actually strong. It's pretty strong. We just got to cut down on those. First of all, those turnovers. That ain't gonna work. Second of all, got to get this run game on an average, above our average. I ain't gonna say dominant, 250 yards a game. No. Above our current average, at least 30 yards more than what we're getting now. So Tide is not making idle threats to people or begging for other people to believe. Tide Nation, Coach DeBoer is issuing a subtle warning in his DeBoer type way. Now that we're in, not only the 11 teams, but the rest of the other 125 or so teams, you better be ready. You better be ready for the Crimson Tide, because if they do the amazing, it wouldn't be a shock to us. But we don't want to shock these other people's system too much, except for the haters. Haters, we want to shock the hell out of your system and have you shaking in your boots. I have people still sending me messages talking about y'all deserve to get in. I'm like, man, Notre Dame, and I'll talk about it some other time. I just looked at the Notre Dame schedule today. I know what I thought I was going to see. Now I cannot believe what I saw. Anyway, the boys issuing a subtle warning. I'm with you, coach. Talk that talk, coach. I have no choice as I sit here but to approve this message. Be warned. You better be ready because the Crimson Tide is coming. And with that, you know how I roll. We get out of here, try to drop something every week as we get closer and closer to the next Tide victory. Hopefully in Norman. I'm expecting it to be in Norman. God, we can't lose in Norman. Anyway, always remember, roll, Tide, roll.